Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Mind of a Minority. My name's Charles. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk to you about the state of affairs in the world today. It's really sad. It's really sad. This country is headed towards probably the worst time in its history over the last 160 years. And every single politician is trash. Well, I won't say every single one, but the vast majority of them. And the ones who win are. The ones who are bought and paid for, they're all trash. And look, whoever becomes the president is essentially trash. It's just who is the bigger steaming pile of trash. So let me tell you how I vote. First of all, I don't vote for a candidate who promises to, quote unquote, help me. I'm not a victim. I'm not oppressed. I'm not weak. I'm not powerless. I am a man and I take responsibility for my own decisions and my own actions. And if I was to sit there and believe that, oh, I'm oppressed or there's something that I can't do or I'm being kept down, then you know what? I'll never apply myself and I will never reach my full potential because I carry this idea that there's no point anyways because I'm always being held down. I have never in my life come across a white man in the hood telling me that I can or can't do something. Okay? I'm not oppressed. Now, I believe that certain politicians would like for you to believe that you are oppressed because if you believe you're oppressed, then you will acquiesce your power and your faith to them. Kind of vote for me and that way I can come and save you. They don't give a damn about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about me, left or right. So instead, when it comes to voting for two candidates, I take a look at which one is most likely to screw with my life and which one is not. And I vote for the one who is not. I vote for the one who I think is not going to take my rights away, take my liberties, my freedoms away, even take my privileges away. I mean, I know the definition of a privilege, but still, I don't want to vote for anybody who I think is going to be a constraint on my ability to grow and flourish. That is just the most self-defeating ideology that anyone could have. And we have an election coming up this year, and our country is in shambles. And make no mistake about it. It's going to get much worse before it gets any better. And B, all of this is by design. Every single bit of it. Listen, when you have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 billion dollars, it is nothing on you. It's nothing for you to spend $600 million on a political campaign. You think a politician is going to do what you say? You can take $100 million and throw it and just watch a wave of activity ripple through the nation. But because we don't do that every day, we don't see it from that perspective. When you have that kind of money, you can control almost anything. Almost anything. That's why I'm telling you, all of this is controlled by the media. You've got 5 corporations that pretty much control everything that you see. And globalists they're trying to destroy this nation because we are the last bastion of freedom in the world. Canada, they just had an AR ban. They want to take their weapons away from them so they can't defend themselves. And they've been slowly chipping away at ours here in the United States. Listen. The reason the world may not be conquered is because the free people of America will not allow it. You understand, the free people of America will not allow for governments of the world to oppress other people. to an extent. We're not going to risk our lives for every injustice worldwide. But if another nation decided that it wanted to start putting its people into concentration camps, you can believe there's going to be some sort of a United States response if it is a magnitude that requires it. Now, if you will open your eyes and stop believing everything that you see on the daggone TV, you stop believing what they show you. They are programming. They have had decades to perfect and own this skill. That is what they do. They manipulate the way that you think. If you hold a belief so strongly that any conflicting information just makes you angry but doesn't make you question that idea, you are brainwashed. When the DC sniper had that kid out there, they were saying that he brainwashed that kid. You think, how could somebody be brainwashed? Like, it just doesn't make sense. People know what's going on. The media is brainwashing you. When I come out here and I tell you that racism is at an all-time low in this country, you don't believe it because the media is showing it to you all the time. Why is it that Ahmaud Arbery, who tragically lost his life back in February, was not made public until a couple of weeks ago? Why is it that Breonna Taylor, who tragically lost her life back in March, was not made public until a couple of weeks ago? And it's timed perfectly with another incident where George Floyd has tragically lost his life. And the cops who were involved, all of the cops who were involved, need to be brought up on charges effective immediately. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't say what charges they should be brought up on, but they should be brought up on charges immediately. All of them should be, because that's if you didn't murder the man, you were accessory, right? There have to be some sort of charges that they can bring them all up on. Now, we don't have time, unfortunately, to stop and grieve for every soldier that we lose. It's not me trying to be callous. I'm just telling you the truth. Because we are in the middle of a war right now. And we cannot allow ourselves to be distracted from the bigger problems. Now, I want you to click this video, pause it where you are, click this video, and I'll explain to you what the size of this problem is, the whole George Floyd, Arbery, and Taylor issue, the racism, police brutality issue. I will show you the size, the scale of that, because that is one thing the media is not doing. The media is not telling you how big this problem is. So pause the video, click this video. I'm going to make it short. It's going to be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then you can get back to this one. So we cannot be distracted from the bigger problems that we have right now because we are in the middle of a war. Now, nothing happens by coincidence. At least nothing that they show you on TV anyways. Okay? It doesn't happen by chance. Do you think that COVID-19 happened by chance when Anthony Fauci spent almost $7.5 million studying gain of function studies on bat coronaviruses in Wuhan, China, the city where it broke? You really think that's a coincidence? Do you think that it's a coincidence that because of COVID-19, they were able to mobilize the National Guard and distribute all of their forces, and all of a sudden now there are riots and the National Guard's they've already prepared to work in every state. So they had a head start on us. Do you think that it's a coincidence that contact tracing and surveillance capitalism are being used for COVID-19? Now they want to say, oh, well, hold on. We got software that's learning to recognize people in face masks. And now we might be able to use this contact tracing in order to find all these riots. Do you really think that stuff is a coincidence? Do you think it's a coincidence that several years ago, plans were drafted for a central digital dollar, and Now they're talking about these plans for a central digital dollar. You think that it's a coincidence that the next stimulus check they're talking about sending out in a different form because they don't want to send out checks to people. They want to send out cards, get us used to a central digital dollar. Just get you used to that idea right now, and a universal basic income. So you rely on us, so you depend on us. You'll be more willing to acquiesce whatever power you have, give it up to us. Do you think that all of that stuff is just a coincidence? Do you think that we just happen to hear about, as I said before, Arbery, Taylor, and Floyd right around the same time? Do you just think it's a coincidence that all of these peaceful protests that are everywhere are turning into violent outrage?
People work too hard. Too hard. It doesn't matter. Because listen, no. We only do that. No. When you do that, they don't come.
This is not a black woman who's putting Black Lives Matter. I just want you to know that right, but y'all doing that for us, and we ain't asked you to do that. Listen, don't spray stuff on here when they gonna blame black people for this, and black people didn't do it. Don't spray on these people's buildings. That's not our message. We out here standing together peacefully, protesting without any problems. You got people of all races spraying on buildings talking about Black Lives Matter. That ain't even us. You got police officers coming to a peaceful protest spraying gas on us. We ain't even did nothing. Don't let the media fool you. When they see the vandalism on these places, know that it wasn't us.
People are obviously going to these events with the intent to create or wreak havoc. You think it's a coincidence, again, that the majority of the people who are getting arrested are not even from the communities in where or the protests are even being held? This is a war, people. This is a psychological war. You have been stirred up to create protests so that you can be the cover for an actual attack on our nation. And you, Black Lives Matter, will take the blame. They don't care about Black Lives Matter. These people don't care about Black Lives Matter. Look, Babylon is on fire. The American empire is in free fall. And they know that they put troops on the ground. They're not going to want to attack the United States, they attack their own citizens. They fought for our freedom. They're not going to want to attack us. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of a company called Academy? Yeah, that's Blackwater's new name. I got a couple more for you. Have you ever heard of Defion? Have you ever heard of Aegis, Triple Canopy? What about Dincor? That company is actually headquartered right here in the state of Virginia. Have you ever heard about Aaronese Utility Resources? What about G4S Security? All of these, with the exception of G4S Security, that's a private security company that they use to guard installations. But all of the other ones, those are private military companies. And most of the people who are employed by them, I guess you could call them enlisted, they are from outside of the United States. One of them even pays their people $1,000 a month equivalents. That's all they get paid to do that. That's good money to them. You think America is so bad, why do you think that everybody wants to come over here? The media is lying to you. They are creating this idea that is not true. They are creating a perspective. That perspective becomes your reality, and it is a false reality. Now, this is why they've created the whole concept of identity politics. Identity politics is meant to divide brother from brother, sister from sister, neighbor from neighbor, so that we don't stand together. I really, really hope that you guys take something away from this. It's a little bit different from what I normally do. It's kind of like more of a rant. But I really just want people to understand that things are about to get a lot worse. So you should be prepared. Prepare. Make sure that you have some food. Make sure that you have some water. Make sure you have some survival tools. Make sure you have some juice for your survival tools. just make sure that you have your affairs in order so that you can protect yourself and your family, because I believe things are about to get much worse. And then the other takeaway is things are never as they seem. Especially when they are on TV, they are never as they seem. When the food runs out, when you can't pay your bills, when the US dollar collapses, when there are military forces in every major city in the country, maybe then
People in this country are going to realize the government does not give a fuck about them. Government doesn't care about you or your children or your rights or your welfare or your safety. It simply doesn't give a fuck about you. It's interested in its own power. That's the only thing, keeping it and expanding it wherever possible.
stop trusting the media. They're not just giving you the information. They're giving you the information, but they're giving it to you in the form of a story. And the story is riddled with bias. They're giving you the information in a way that influences how you will react or respond to the information. We don't have time to take our eyes off the ball. I love you all. I wish you the very best, and I will see you soon.